So the next bone is humerus. Humerus is a long bone, like you all know. A long bone consists of the upper end, the lower end, and the intervening shaft. Now here you can easily identify the upper end and the lower end. The upper end is globular. The upper end is globular, you can see. Now, first of all, in the long bones, we have to identify to which side does it belong. So, we all know that this is the articulating head of the humerus. It is directed upwards, forwards, and backwards. And there is one sulcus. This is known as intertubercular sulcus or bicipital groove. This bicipital groove should be present in anteriorly. Okay. Now, if I keep this bone in my left hand, though the head is directing upward, forward, upwards and medially, but this bicipital groove should be present here, but it is present backwards. So this bone does not belong to the right side but to the left side, with the fact that the intertubercular sulcus is present anteriorly. Okay. Now the rest of the upper end we will be discussing. These are the trochanters. Tubercles. The greater tubercle and the lesser tubercle. These tubercles are separated by intertubercular sulcus or the bicipital groove. This bicipital groove consists of two lips, the lateral lip and the medial lip. Clear हो गया? And this is the bicipital groove. The greater tubercle, lesser tubercle and the globular head. Okay. So this was all about the upper end. Now the shaft. The shaft is triangular in section. It has three borders. Anterior border, the medial border and the lateral border. Anterior border, when traced from downwards upward towards the upper side, it meets with the lateral lip of the intertubercular sulcus. Okay. The medial border, it begins from the medial supracondylar line and on the above it is continuous with the oblique ridge. Then comes the lateral border. Now there are these three borders will be separating the shaft of the humerus into three surfaces: anterolateral surface, anteromedial surface. This is anteromedial surface, anterolateral surface and the posterior surface. Now there are some features here we will be seeing on the shaft. One is this V-shaped ridge. This V-shaped ridge is called deltoid tuberosity. Deltoid muscle is getting insertion here. Just behind this there is a shallow groove. This groove is called as radial groove, which is moving spirally. Spiral groove, okay, which lodges the radial nerve. The upper end of this groove meets with the oblique line. This is so just behind this deltoid tuberosity, this is the spiral groove or the radial groove which is lodging the radial nerve. The upper end of this radial groove has the oblique ridge. Okay. Coming to the lower end. Now the lower end has the medial and the lateral border. They become thickened to form medial and lateral supracondylar ridges, and these eminences, these are called as epicondyle. Medial epicondyle and lateral. The medial epicondyle is larger as compared to the lateral. Now we also see two more processes here. The lateral one, which is rounded, is called as capitulum. It will articulate, and it is convex. It will articulate with the concave superior surface of the radius, like this. Next, this pulley-shaped process is known as capitulum. These two processes are separated faintly by a ridge. Okay. In this capitulum, there articulates ulna. Just above these, there are two fossas present. This fossa, above this capitulum, there is fossa. This is called as radial fossa. And just above this trochlea, there is another fossa. This is known as trochlear fossa, which is become filled up in a fully flexed elbow. This is known as olecranon fossa, which is present on the posterior surface of the humerus. The three nerves are directly attached to this humerus. First, the three nerves are related to the humerus. First is the axillary nerve, which is related to the surgical neck. Next is the radial nerve in the radial groove, and the ulnar nerve in the just above the medial epicondyle. Just behind the medial epicondyle, ulnar nerve is related. Now we will proceed further for the muscle attachments. First one, that is the greater tubercle and the lesser tubercle. The greater tubercle, on the highest there are supraspinatus, then infraspinatus, then teres minor. Then on the lesser tubercle there is present subscapularis. This is intertubercular. Now this is the intertubercular sulcus. On the floor of the intertubercular sulcus, the latissimus dorsi is attached. On the lateral lip of this intertubercular sulcus, teres major is attached, and on the medial lip,